Welcome to Decode Disrupt, episode 13, where insight meets interruption. I'm Nicolette.
I'm Gabby. Hi, hey everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. Today we're introducing our new series within Decode Disrupt, and it's called Decoding Modern Dating, right? This today's episode specifically is called Dating in the Avoidant Era. Right? So let's get started. We got Nicolette.
Yeah, let's get started. So, thank you. I see Jenny's in the chat. We always welcome your questions, your energy. If it's authentic, just let me know. So, modern dating. I've had a lot of friends in my life go, bitch, if you had a podcast about dating, we would just fucking watch it 24/7.
Same. People love my takes on dating and relationships.
Yeah, so this is juicy. And
Yeah.
again, we're doing this monthly. So today's episode is about the avoidant era. So Gabby, why don't you take us away right now?
All right, so I feel like in today's modern landscape, right? Um Everyone seems to be fluent in psychology, right? But few people seem to be fluent in how to get and maintain actual relationships. Like they can speak the lingo, but they don't really know what they're talking about. That's just my observation. I think a lot of us have learned the language, the attachment styles, boundaries, trauma, nervous system, red flags, green flags, pink flags, blue flags, breadcrumbing, ghosting, gaslighting. But I think somewhere along the way, the vocabulary became the relationship.
Wow, Gabby, that's a bold statement. I agree. I agree. It's like
Yeah.
we were given the tools, and it's like, but we're not building good houses with these tools. We're just calling shit out. And it's like, no. So we're like dating diagnoses instead of people. Every boundary
Mhm.
becomes avoidance. Every pause becomes rejection. Because I don't know, we're reading into things. We're going off past issues, right? We have all this therapy language. But does every relationship end with someone saying, I knew they were an avoidant? Like, it's like a catchphrase now.
Oh yeah, it is. So I think today let's rephrase this. Let's ask a much different question. I think a lot of us have become so focused on identifying unhealthy people. We're looking for unhealthy habits, unhealthy language. We just looking for unhealthiness on the initial first date, right? Or when we first meet somebody, that we stop recognizing the healthy behavior. Or even worse, we're so our perspective because of our nervous system and our trauma um is so used to seeing a certain behavior one way that we don't even think, well, maybe it's this, you know what I'm saying? And I'll get into that later in the episode.
Okay.
um but what if the real problem isn't simply that avoidance exists? What if we're living in a dating culture where avoidance has become structural, right?
Ah,
We've developed the language to identify it, and it has become so overused that it struggles to detect what's like really happening.
okay. That's fair. So, why this topic is important to me, and we're going to get into this over the months. I can't wait to get into dating after divorce, dating in your 40s. Like, that's what matters to me. And yes, I have dated avoidance. So, I do feel like I have direct experience with this exact niche topic. But I don't know. So we're not meeting people anymore. We're constantly evaluating them. We're scanning for inconsistencies before we've built trust, which I kind of respect, and I also think it plays into evidence of what you've experienced in the past. And if you're looking for problems, you're going to have problems. So it just changes how you're interacting. Are you present or are you calculating? I don't know.
I get that. No, and I agree with that statement. That was a very bold but very accurate statement. We're dating, but we're calculating. I feel like dating today is very calculated. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and we'll
know.
get into the show why I feel that way.
Okay.
So, real quick, why this topic matters to me?
Yeah.
I've spent months writing about dating this year, and I just noticed something interesting. I started, I think, in April. I dedicate that whole month of Thursdays to dating, modern dating. Um, and like you said, I think we become incredibly skilled at diagnosing someone else's behavior while becoming increasingly uncomfortable examining our own. So therapy language hit the streets, right? But we project that. Like, someone takes it and with that language, right? And the amount of people who lack I episode, only 20% of the world is self-aware. That's the stats. That's just what it is. So I know when you walk around here diagnosing people that it's an 80% chance that you are not self-aware, that you have not done the introspection on yourself. And but yet we want to go and project things on the other people, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we're absolutely identifying unhealthy dynamics. There's nothing wrong with that. You're identifying unhealthy dynamics, but other times we're simply assigning clinical language to ordinary emotional discomfort. Your own, not the other person, your own emotional discomfort. The things you haven't addressed, your traumas, your issues, your insecurities, and you're using clinical language to project that onto someone else. But so this episode, let's discuss. So this episode, we're going to discuss why dating has become more analytical than relational, the influence of therapy culture, and the influence of social media, and finally, why psychological literacy doesn't automatically create emotional maturity. You think
Oh,
it would. You think it would, but it does not. And I had a great time researching this episode. I don't know. I've been dating kind of creeped up on me this year. I just dating realized, oh, but my pattern recognition kicked in like doop 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 doop. Dots are connecting. You know. um, so like I had fun. This episode's gonna be fun. I'm ready
okay.
to, me. I'm the queen of the hot take, but I have them. So
I know I'm a little scared for some people because we all have our own lanes and our own experiences, and I'm like, I don't know where people are going to fall in this, but my
yeah,
whole intention is, do better for yourself. Like, stop looking outside and blaming. Like, once you look under the hood, you free up a lot of shit and you realize you've been the culprit of a lot of your shit. So, anyway, we got, how do you say it? How do you say
I'm
that?
sorry.
I want to give a shout out, but I don't know how to pronounce Ami X Intel. I can't read that. I can't read. Libra's here. Marlena's in the house. We're just
What's up,
laying
Marlena?
the foundation for today's show, which is avoidant.
Happy Sunday.
How do you say it?
Dating in the avoidant era.
Yeah.
Dating in the avoidant era.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go into the decode portion. What does it actually mean to date in the avoidant era? Dating in the avoidant era doesn't
Uh,
simply mean there are more avoidant people. It means avoidance has become both a behavior and a lens. All right. So some people avoid intimacy, others avoid uncertainty, and many of us avoid self reflection by becoming experts on everyone else's patterns. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Ooh, okay. So the question isn't simply, again, who is avoidant? The better question is, what are we avoiding? And, if we take a lens of kind of like biology, right? We're all organisms
Okay.
trying to survive. And so we're going to like follow the path of least resistance that, ensures our survival and our safety. So what do we avoid? Uncertainty, discomfort at what? All costs. And if you're a
Absolutely.
narcissist or you don't do the inner work, you go throw everyone under the bus to save your ass.
Absolutely. Every time. Or if you're insecure. So I think a lot of time we speak about narcissism thing, but narcissists is on the further end of the scale.
Okay.
Let's look at it from their standpoint. Insecure people do this a lot. They
Okay.
do the same thing. I think we've gotten so used to calling, and that's another thing. Weaponizing psychological lingo, right?
I agree with you.
Everyone's not a narcissist, right? Some people are just very insecure, and they do the same. They exhibit these same behaviors sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love
and I
that.
think that's
I love that. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
no, no, no. I didn't mean to overtalk you. I love how you framed that last question. It's not who is avoidant, but what are we avoiding?
Yeah,
I
and
love the way you
I
framed that.
love because I actually stopped saying like there's just too much weaponizing of narcissists, and I accidentally did
Yeah.
that myself just then. So I really appreciate that, Gabby, because insecurity is human. It's natural, right? To feel
Yeah.
insecure. It's what you do
Hmm.
with that discomfort, which is what I don't appreciate is when people can't own their shit. Like I'm not
Hmm.
perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I'm the first person to be like, Does it hurt? Does my like rejection come up? Does my shame come up? Yeah, but I'd rather be like, oh shit, let me take this moment to learn about what I did, what you did,
Yep,
what you perceive, because I'm not responsible for how you perceive me, but I do care about relationships, right?
absolutely.
So let's decode this point a little bit further. So
All
emotional
right.
intelligence, one of our favorite words on this show, and avoidant attachment are not the same thing.
They're not. I think this is like one of my biggest ones.
This is, I want you
This
to go off the cuff here. Tell us more about that, Gabby.
Okay. So this one, the reason I added this one specific, I made sure I said, Nicolette, I have to put this point in because this is what I like one of my biggest and this one right here, this point, what started me on this modern dating writing thing, right? Um, Emotional intelligence and avoiding attachment, right? Emotional intelligence, let's think about what it looks like, how it manifests, right?
Okay.
Emotional intelligence and avoidance. They mirror similar traits, right? In that they can both be well, avoidance can appear to be grounded when they're actually avoidant, whereas emotionally intelligent people are actually grounded. Avoidance may dismiss a conversation because they want to avoid it. Emotionally intelligent people dismiss conversations that they perceive to be a trick to get them out of character, to take them out of their ungroundedness, start drama, like so their behaviors mirror each other so much, right? That we're assigning this language avoidant to people who are merely emotionally intelligent enough to recognize it, right? Or to
Mm,
recognize a potential issue or problem. So, emotional intelligence is the ability to regulate yourself without abandoning connection. That's the key difference. Avoidant attachment is a
uh,
protective strategy that creates distance when intimacy feels threatening. So, the way to tell the difference between the two, the avoidant will just outright avoid and there won't be any intimacy, there won't be any de-escalation tactics taking place. Someone emotionally intelligent will try to calm you down, they'll de-escalate the situation. They'll say, "Hey, give me about 30 minutes to an hour. Let me regroup." That is someone that's emotionally intelligent. That is not an avoidant. And
correct.
I am so passionate about this because I've been called an avoidant more times than I like to admit. Right?
Yeah.
They're fundamentally different things, but modern dating often collapses them into the same category, right? If
Hey.
someone says, "I need 30 minutes before I respond," the other person hears one person hears they're regulating, but someone whose nervous system isn't regulated or is used to toxic relationships
Mhm.
or isn't used to someone emotionally intelligent or grounded, what they will hear is, "Oh my God, they're withdrawing."
Yeah,
It's the same behavior. "I need 30 minutes." Same behavior. The emotionally regulated person will say, "Oh, they're regulating." The other person hears they're withdrawing.
I
Same
know.
behavior, two
Mm,
completely different nervous systems, and that's
correct.
the key difference. So the
Yeah.
key line in this instance is regulation creates distance, and there's a difference because those two things aren't the same. Do you have anything to say on this point?
Well, my previous lens and experience was abandonment issues. I don't know what attachment style that is. Do you know in psychology if you have
I
abandonment?
think it's anxious attachment.
So, this was before I had the language, right? And I'm operating in a romantic relationship based on my abandonment wounds. And at the time, I had an avoidant, but they did not know how to say, I need 30 minutes. They fucking just walk out the door. Where does that take me to? The trauma of my
Yeah,
parents walking out the door and leaving me abandoned. If they had the tools to say, I care about you, I just need 30 minutes, I would have been in a different place. But that person clearly was an avoidant, didn't have the tools. So we would just fight constantly because our attachment styles weren't aligned. And so I hear the nervous systems. It's like speaking two different languages.
yep, absolutely,
So
absolutely,
yeah. So it's going to make me feel sad, but I feel like it's okay to feel whatever feelings are coming up because that's how we grow and we learn. So,
absolutely.
whew,
That is how you grow and learn.
yeah. So thank
Yeah,
you.
but no, but
Mhm.
that part, it does sound like they will avoid an attachment as well. They sound like they had an avoidant.
Yeah. They were
They
clearly,
could have
they
been
knew
if
that they
you just leave it out.
So what I'm
Yeah.
sensing, the difference between you, Gabby, is you were tracked as avoidant, but you weren't. So you were misunderstood. If I'm understanding you correctly, I was literally in a
Yeah.
relationship with an avoidant who knew therapy words, and for a year and a half gaslit me because they didn't make my experience valid, and we just didn't have the tools to come eye to eye. So I just wanted to give a real world example of how two nervous systems, no emotional intelligence on the table. It was just bad news.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
Mm.
move on to decode point number 2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you wanna take that?
Sure. So we're going to decode this. Your nervous system interprets behavior before your mind explains it. Wow. So
Mhm.
an anxious nervous system is designed to detect threat quickly. So yes, an anxious one does. I don't know if we're going to get in the weeds and talk about abandonment, because when I lived in hypervigilance or survival mode, I was constantly not aware that I was scanning for threats, because that's just how my nervous system was, right? So this is what happens. Ambiguity can feel dangerous. Oof. Calm can feel unfamiliar. Consistency, this is a big one for a lot of people, can feel boring. So this
I've
interpret.
had that issue.
Oh, you had that issue? Okay. The interpretation.
Consistency and calmness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, you're boring," and then we break up, and I'm like, "No, you told me I was boring. I broke up with you for any reason. You tell me I'm boring. Oh, we broke up." Like I'm just that person, right? And people call me arrogant. Well, you
Yeah.
should no. You should watch what you say. I'm big on effective communication. All right. And
Yeah.
so she was like, "Well, you're not boring. I was in the moment. Well, watch what you say in the moment, because I'm going to break up with you." Like that's just how I am, and I'm just like,
You're funny. Okay. So before we go into examples, let me stay a little bit on topic. I appreciate that. So the interpretation happens, let's say, long before the logic arrives, because this is a very interesting thing, like logic before your body. Like this is a hot topic about nervous system regulation. Your mind's going to create stories. It's going to create stories. It will. And so this means sometimes you're not reacting to their behavior, it's your body's prediction. And this is, I can speak for this from direct experience. When you've had so much trauma, you're almost reliving the past and projecting it onto the person in front of you.
"Yep, I can agree with that."
I've had relationships where, in retrospect, I did that. Call it self sabotage, call it doing what I know. But each relationship, I introspected and I learned and I sat with myself and I go, okay, that I could have done differently. And I think that's what you and I talk about, Gabby. We agree on is like
Yeah.
people who don't introspect after. It's not about being perfect. We're going to make mistakes. That's how we learn, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So my angle on this is sometimes peace doesn't feel safe. Because chaos had become familiar. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Why don't you take the key line for us?
If calm feels suspicious, that's information for you, not the other person.
Mm,
Not necessarily about them, about what your nervous system has learned, right?
mm.
Because calm should not feel suspicious. Calm should feel safe, welcoming, warm. So if calm feels boring or suspicious, it's a you problem.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. And that was my problem for so long. And once I broke the pattern of, I think a lot of folks in the dating world, we're talking about intensity and sparks and chemistry right away, right? So
Hmm.
people who look for that, like that was my trauma response going, oh, I'm used to chaos. And, I grew up in a violent household, unfortunately, and a lot of, we're fiery people. We spoke a lot. So it's like, oh, isn't this how all relationships are?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. So I had to learn the hard way.
And it's like that sometimes.
All right. Do you
Yep.
want to read what Marlena's saying? Because I see some good stuff.
Okay. Let me see what. Hold on. Marlena is saying, oh, she said a lot. She's taking notes, talking about my ex, avoided everything. Oh, we've talked about your ex. Avoiding attachment can't have emotional intelligence.
Mm,
Exactly. That's what we were saying. Avoiding attachment style, yeah, they're typically not emotionally intelligent people. Oh, that's T. I don't know what part of the discussion she said that. And she said, abandonment is my wound too, friend. And then
Hmm.
she said, me and my ex were abandonment and avoidant is really hard. It is.
Yeah, that dynamic
Yeah.
is really hard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hard dynamic.
Thanks
Because
for.
when you guys are trying to anxiously attach, right? You're trying to keep it working and keep it together. And then the avoidant, um, connection feels unfamiliar to them or scary. It may not even feel unfamiliar. It may feel scary. Your
Mm.
ex sounded like she was emotionally avoidant.
Ooh, yeah.
And I have a lot of experience with emotional avoidance. I was emotionally avoidant until I was the age of 25. I think I've told this story. I've told this story to somebody recently. I don't know if it was one of you two. But yes, your ex sounded like they were emotionally avoidant. They're running from something within themselves.
Yep.
Right.
Hmm.
Um okay, so point number 3. Requirements without reflection become another form of avoidance. I think this was the second article I wrote.
Okay.
People have incredibly detailed partner requirements, right? They want them to be emotionally
Liz.
available, financially secure, communicative, self-aware, securely attached, but very few people keep that same inventory or that same energy when it comes time to look inward, right? So you got this. Oh, I got a story. I'm going to share
Okay.
right now. The reason this is my second article because I had just dealt with this, right? So I had met someone, and we met in a capacity to where I got to know. She spoke a lot like you, like this is the type of stuff her content was geared toward, and so I was like, oh, finally, someone emotionally mature. We started texting. I did notice a couple things, like she was very I don't know the word for it. She was controlling isn't the word, but she had to have the last word. She had to be right, even when she was wrong. Right? She's one of those people. And so she had this long list. And I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like me. So I thought, if you don't throw out requirements that you can't meet. So we link up, we meet, we talk, and then I ended up cutting it real short, like maybe 2 days short. Because I'm like, you have this long list of requirements that you do not meet yourself. Um, you haven't reflected. So people come in and they will have this long list of requirements. She handed you, they couldn't check off a single box on that list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's so be wary. The reason this is on the list because you want to be wary of the people who, upon initial meeting, they list off all these things. And you're like, oh, great, finally somebody compatible, finally another emotionally mature person.
Right.
But like we said earlier, a lot of people just know the language,
Hmm.
right? They don't embody any of these traits naturally. They just learn the language and hoping to meet someone like that, right? Fail to realize is emotionally mature people want emotionally mature people.
Correct.
So you can't say you want something that you're not willing or unable to give yourself.
Damn.
Um, yeah, so you need to be able to ask yourself, you have this long demanding list of qualities, but can you repair?
Mm.
Can you apologize? Can you tolerate discomfort without creating distance? Can you receive healthy love or
Mm.
only recognize familiar love, right?
Mm.
Do you
That,
have anything to add to this
yeah.
point?
The warning sign in my head is like cognitive dissonance. It's like, I'm so
Yes.
curious on how that archetype, if we're naming this person that operates like this, is like, I have this list and I know what I want, but I'm not bringing it to the table. I just find that such a huge chasm, or, there's a huge void.
Same.
And it's just like, I don't have direct experience around that because I like mean what I say. I live in integrity. So yeah, I have a
Yeah.
list and I know my shortcomings and I know what I'm working on. And I have no problem fucking talking about that. But the folks who don't and have high expectations and then don't come correct, I'm like, what is that,
Yeah.
Gabby? What is that? That's
What
just.
is that archetype? I don't even know. This is something new. And this is, I think, therapy language just being out there floating around freely is creating the whole new archetypes, right? Because now people have the language and they've never had to do the work, but they have the language. That's dangerous. You get
Goes
what I'm
back
saying?
to your first point. This is proving the
Yeah.
point. Yes. And so let's just play this out a little bit longer. So this person who has this list and isn't doing the inner work dates this person who actually can. And imagine the chaos for this person, the gaslighting, the like, because this person's going to do whatever antic to save face and to not be wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that to me is just the definition of toxicity. It's like, bruh, like, can't you just say you're bad? Like you said, can't you just apologize and own shit? They cannot for the life of them. And
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna leave it at that because yeah. Do you have an angle on that, Gabby?
No, I do have a key line though.
Okay.
A checklist without a mirror is just another defense mechanism. That's it.
Okay. A checklist without a mirror is just an yes. That is a clean way to just go, like in my mind, like what the fuck? Because that is all defense mechanism, right? It's like
Yes, it
it's
is.
almost like that term I hate, fake it till you make it. So they are literally
Yes.
faking it and involving my peace and my life. And I'm like,
I recognize it immediately. I'm like, nope, you're nothing like you talk about.
yeah, I'm
You
much better,
know,
girl.
yeah, once I'm at the point now where I'm just too healed. I'm like, no, you're not gonna work. And people think they call me an a-hole. They call me avoidant. And I'm
Where
like, no,
we're
no.
no, we're just awake. I don't know the right word.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So thank you. Are we on
We're
point?
emotionally intelligent. That's the word.
That's what we are. Emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Sometimes we mistake new people for old wounds. Ooh,
Ooh, this is a good one.
a good one. One delayed text becomes every person who abandoned you. One
They
does it.
catastrophize.
What's that?
They catastrophize.
I know. I'm well aware of this. Guilty in the past. One
Oh,
disagreement,
I'm sorry.
every relationship that failed. Yeah. One boundary becomes emotional unavailability. Yeah. If you're on the other end of a boundary and you don't have boundaries in your life, they don't feel good. We stop responding to the person in front of us and start responding to unfinished history. Yeah. That's a hard one for people in it to swallow.
It is. It is.
It's a hard one.
It is. It
However,
is. I think a lot of people I don't have any experience with this one.
okay.
Because I meet everybody I meet is brand new. When I meet you, you get a clean slate. People are like, how are you still so positive? How are you still so optimistic? I'm like,
Mm,
because everybody's different. Everybody deserves a clean slate. Like you can't base a new person off someone else to you. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you. And I love that because, yeah, if we're carrying, like, we're putting people on a cross and we're crucifying them based on, then we're just going to keep repeating the hurt. And that's what we're doing ourselves. So this is a really good decode
Yep.
for people who are like victimizing and in that martyrdom mindset, like, why me? I'm never going to have a relationship. You know, it's like, well, have you looked at, are you doing any of that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
okay, here's the angle. The past is supposed to inform discernment. It isn't supposed to become the template for every future relationship. Cool. I like that.
Yep.
That feels clean.
Yep.
Okay.
I like that.
Same.
All right. You ready to get into point 5?
Yeah, let's go. What-
Real avoidance is like we're not gonna deny that. Dating in the avoidant era, there are true avoidance out there more than we like to admit. This is becoming a real problem, and when it's time to disrupt this, we're gonna talk about the rise of avoidance and why it's becoming the way it is, right?
Mhm.
But real avoidance exists, and it deserves to be named accurately, right? So let's talk about what real avoidance looks like.
Okay.
Chronic emotional withdrawal. Everybody has their moments. Not every day is a perfect day. No one's perfect, right? You're not perfect. They're not perfect. Your mom's not perfect. Your dog's not perfect. No one's perfect, right? But chronic emotional withdrawal. The key word there is chronic.
I like
Sometimes we
that.
all emotionally withdraw. We
Yeah.
have moments where we emotionally withdraw, and that's okay. That does not make someone avoidant because they've emotionally withdrawn one time in the last 6 months. That's not what avoidance is. Um, contempt for emotional needs, right? If someone is always contemptuous when you express your emotional needs, that's what avoidance is. That can be a sign of avoidance. Punishing distance. I need time. I need space. I need connection. I can't see you today. Can we see each other tomorrow? Stonewalling. Refusing to repair. Refusing to own up to your crap. Right. Consistent emotional unavailability. If they're consistently emotionally unavailable, and I've been guilty of this too. And I'm stop. I'm stop. I'm gonna pause right here because it just made me reflect. I forgot to put this on the list. I should have deleted it. Um, consistent emotional unavailability. But so I'm a workaholic and I get caught up in work, and sometimes I do abandon my not abandon, but it goes to the bottom of my to do list for the day.
Mm,
Relationship, and that's something I can recognize within myself. But that doesn't necessarily mean um you're an avoidant, right? The key word there is consistent. There'll
yeah.
be times when people are mostly unavailable, right?
Hmm.
But the key word there is consistent emotional unavailability.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see why people call me avoidant. Um, like so, everything I listed, all those behaviors can cause real harm, emotional harm to someone else, right? But
Mm-hmm.
calling every regulated person avoidant doesn't protect people. It actually makes genuine avoidance harder to identify. And this is why I'm so passionate about this topic because there are very few people I feel like that are actually emotionally intelligent or practice emotional intelligence or actually emotionally mature, right?
Hmm.
And so to begin to lump them into the avoidant category, I feel like we're going down a dangerous, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to recognize what avoidance is in comparison to what emotional intelligence is, because the behaviors can look similar, but it's
Yes.
the nervous system, it's the mindset, it's
Hmm.
the actions where you got to differentiate between the two.
Yeah.
So my key line here is when every behavior becomes avoidance, nothing is. We got to stop calling everything avoidance.
I appreciate this because, again, as a former anxious attachment person who had to heal abandonment issues, also, too, there's science research that female brains that are super intelligent and fast and neurospicy have problems with rumination and take things personally and read into and create problems in relationships like this. So, yes, what presents as a workaholic feels like hours of abandonment to a person who was neglected, and we have to do that inner work to be like, no, they're at work, they're not here to
Yeah, I was at
constantly
work.
reply to us, right? And
Yeah, I would be at work.
yeah, but I think it's just nice because you're kind of representing from a direct experience one, right, like the mislabeled avoidant, right? And now we get to talk freely,
Hmm.
and I'm talking about my experience as an anxious attachment and how I would read into like, oh, I can't see you tonight after work. And then you read into it like, really? Is that true? Are you cheating on me? Like all those shit
Oh
come,
my God. I
right?
got accused of cheating so many times.
See?
It's crazy. Just up to a couple days ago, people still see me as a cheater. Like they don't know me from a can of paint, but they would just see me visually and say, "Oh, you're a cheater. Oh, you look like a cheater." What does a cheater look like? Can
Yeah.
someone please tell me what a cheater looks like? Um,
Stereotypical.
maybe I have to get.
Yeah, I can see that because you know yourself, and then you carry yourself with such grace that you're like, I'm not here for bullshit. So that comes across as like, oh, you think you're a player, you think you're too good for us, like.
No, I just think
But I
I'm
see that archetype,
minding my
see
business.
that pattern. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
see how you got lumped into it.
yeah.
And yeah, so I really appreciate us playing out these like roles.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But no, I've had my own experience with avoidance. Like I said, before that by the age of 25, I was emotionally avoidant up until the age of 25.
Mm.
So anybody that dealt with me up until the age of 25, they can absolutely say, yes, she was avoidant. Because I was very emotionally avoidant. And that kind of happens when you're raised by a narcissist.
I
Um,
love that you can say that. Like, see, you name that, and people who knew me
yeah.
probably till 30, I don't know, maybe late 30s, I definitely was like anxious attachment. I'm finally in my secure attachment era.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we all get here. We all get here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the teaching moment here is the healthiest relationships don't remove uncertainty. They build enough trust that uncertainty doesn't immediately become danger.
Mm.
They don't remove uncertainty. They build enough trust that uncertainty doesn't immediately become danger.
Yeah. And trust takes time.
It does.
Yeah, and people don't give people enough time sometimes because we're so like instant gratification, right? But maybe that'll
Oh
come up
yeah,
in
we all want to.
portion. Yeah. So now we're going to segue into the disrupt. So what are we
Let's
challenging?
do so. What? Oh my God. So the first point I would like to challenge, the first disruption point is the diagnosis culture itself. Have we become more interested in labeling people than understanding them? I will preface this with this because I think I'm gonna catch a lot of flack on the watch back of this, right? Therapy going mainstream was the one of the best things that could have happened to our culture, right? Therapy going the mainstream, right? Especially people like Nicolette and I, immigrant minority cultures, right? Therapy was very taboo. What goes on in grandma house, stay in grandma house. That's
Yep.
very much how our communities were, right? Therapy allowed people to get language and be able to identify and recognize things that have happened to them. They allowed them to identify patterns that they've taken on because of what happened in the past. Like therapy was great. However, but therapy language hit the streets like crack in the 80s, and it is doing a disservice to dating culture. Like that is my biggest gripe because now everybody knows the language. Chat GPT is everybody's therapist. Everybody has the lingo, everybody has the language, everybody meets people, and the minute they have certain behaviors, they're on the first date with Chat GPT. Oh, they doing this. What is this? You're an avoidant attachment. You are absolutely an avoidant. And I'm just like, what? And that is my that I think this is my biggest gripe with the therapy language, right? Is
Yeah.
because we're weaponizing it at this point.
Mm.
Therapy and therapy language was meant to help heal, but we've taken something that was meant for good and we're weaponizing it. And oftentimes, the weaponization of therapy language is to deflect from what we feel internally when our nervous system reacts to something.
Yep.
We using therapy language to deflect it and project it back onto the other person, and that's my issue
Yeah.
about dating. Do you have anything to say about
Dude,
this? This,
I I
yeah,
that whole section was like perfectly packaged, and I love that you called it like the whole crack in the 80s. It just makes me think of New Jack City, and I just want Chris Rock to like I need to see him do a bit on therapy language and being the new like Pookie be up in there and be like, fuck
yeah,
avoidance and shit.
yeah. Let me tell you. Oh my God.
So I'm gonna leave that shit alone because that was perfection. That was so good.
Thank you. Yes.
It is.
Oh man, do you want to take this disruption point too, or do
I'll
you
shut
want
it
me
down
to?
for
It's up to
myself
you.
because you unraveled me in all the best ways.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to unravel you.
No, it's hella good. That's
I
how
didn't mean
good you
to.
are. That is how good you are. Own that shit. Okay. Decode. Disruption point number 2. The algorithm rewards ego protection. Ooh. Stories that say, I was healthy and they were toxic, they get all the love, right? They get all the love. Everyone's like bandwagoning, oh, how can that motherfucker do that to you, right? Okay.
Yes.
And stories that say, I realize I was reacting from old wounds. You hear crickets. Nobody
You
knows what to
do.
do with that shit because social media rewards certainty and growth usually begins with uncertainty. I live in that lane, bitch, all the time.
Yes. I live in uncertainty. I thrive in uncertainty.
I do.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
So this does not resonate with me, and I'm so tired of the performative. Like this whole point is ego and comfortability and what people feel safe getting all up in arms. And you read those comments on Instagram where like 5,000 people are like, fuck that person. And that person's character could
Yeah.
just got assassinated and they weren't even available to say, well, this is what happened to me.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. I see you mentioned Instagram, I see the same thing on TikTok. The person that goes and tells their story, "Yes, I this happened to me. I was dating him, he did this, he was toxic." Story goes viral. Next thing you know is 9,000 stitches to it. Every take about what she went through. Whole time this person never got to defend themselves. We never got the story,
Thank you
you
for
know?
naming that. I
Um,
really, really appreciate that. So
yeah.
enlighten folks on, hey, nothing wrong with that shit, but maybe there is something wrong with that because it's like, how is that fair? Like, if you really need to be seen and you dragged all these fucking other people in, that just doesn't seem healthy to me, man.
Yep. It's not. It's not. But like I said, the healthy stories don't go viral, you know? The
They're
accountability stories don't go viral, you know?
well, I want
So,
to be a part of that, normalizing that, because I think it's fucking hot when someone goes, oh, guess what I found out about myself? I'm celebrating this and I'm putting out that out there. 0 likes. Well, I fucking like it and I see you.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, disruption point number 3, performing self-awareness. Only 20% of us out here in the world. Um, so what I want to discuss with this, right, is knowing the vocabulary isn't the same as doing the work. Can you recognize your own projections? Can you recognize your own patterns? Can you admit when your interpretation wasn't accurate? And my issue with projection, my issue with self awareness, but specifically projection, is that I didn't realize until very, very recently how many people wrongfully interpret action. I'm gonna give you an example.
Give it to me.
I was I was dating this girl last year, and she called me about something. Said we were dating, but I was dating like other people too. And so because I'm not in a relationship, I'm dating. So she asked me something. I said, "Oh no, I got a date that day," and it just came out my mouth because me and her weren't dating. Like we weren't a couple. I
Okay.
didn't even think to say, "Oh no, I'm busy." I just said, "Oh, I got a date that day."
Straight up said
So
the
she's like,
truth.
"Oh, okay," but we have a yeah, because I'm just so used to being truthful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she hangs up the phone, and
Oof.
next thing I know, our mutual friend is calling me, and she's like, "Yo, what's going on? Why did you blah blah blah?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "Are you just trying to make her jealous or something?" I said, "Make her jealous about what? Why would you tell her you got another date?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm just being honest. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, why me? Why does me being honest in the moment when I'm not even thinking about it, like I didn't think to say, "Oh, I have something planned." I was just like, "Oh, no, I got a date." Like in the moment.
Yeah.
Why is that interpreted as me trying to make her jealous?
Mm,
I was literally confused. I'm like, "No, I'm just being honest."
yes.
Like,
I feel
and
you.
I think yeah, but that's when I was like, "Yo, the whole world is full of projections."
I have so many, my brain is paying, and I want to give you the space to really finish before I
Oh,
dive
no,
in.
I'm done. That was it. That was the end of the example, but
Okay, so projections are facts. Like we literally we move through the world projecting onto the world. That is just how we operate. It's if you're not aware you're
yeah,
projecting and being projected on. You have to know people are gonna, you know, come at you with their story, and then you're gonna respond with your story
yeah,
unless you stop the spell and you go, oh shit, we're projecting, right?
yeah,
So you share your story. I see both sides. I see your side because being autistic neurodivergent, I speak truth, but if I don't fucking code switch or mask, then the other person's left like, because I just speak truth and people can't handle it. And they're just like, you didn't soften it. Do you know how much work I have to do to soften for people to feel okay
no,
the way I fucking talk? Do the
I'm
work
not.
too. Like, okay, yeah, it stings a little bit to hear that you're going on another date, but then maybe that would make me go, oh, so you're going on another date. What would it take for us to be exclusive? Why don't I flip it like that?
Yeah.
Ask
Oh,
questions.
yeah, I mean, yeah. But
Fucking like
no, we were
call
both
a
seeing
friend,
other people, I think.
right? To call you up. That is so fucking like, I don't even want to say like middle school.
Yeah. I
Like,
didn't know why she was calling. I'm like, "Dude, what you talking about?"
anyway,
"No, I want on a date." It was
it's
weird.
yeah. And I want to say hi, Nicole. Thank you for being
Hey,
here.
Nicole.
Yeah,
We
we're
are
doing
well. How are you today, Nicole?
okay. Are you complete with that disruption point, or do you need a little
Yeah,
bit more?
I'm well.
All right.
Yeah, that was performing self-awareness. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're moving on to the peace problem. Why does someone's emotional stability sometimes feel emotionally unavailable? Whoa, those were a lot of words. Why does someone's emotional stability sometimes feel emotionally unavailable? Before I even try to unpack that, why does predictability sometimes feel less attractive than inconsistency? Huh. So the challenge, could it be that your nervous system mistakes familiar chaos for chemistry? Gabby, put this into layman's terms a little bit and then let me riff off of you because this is a little, yeah.
Okay, so emotional stability sometimes feel emotionally unavailable. And
Okay.
why does predictability sometimes feel less attractive than inconsistency? So emotional stability feels emotionally unavailable because stability looks grounded. It is grounded. It feels, and to someone whose nervous system isn't balanced, it feels like cold or that you don't in actuality it's just groundedness. That's what emotional maturity, emotional stability is a grounding of your emotions. And people that are used to chaos or arguing or chaotic relationships, they take that to mean, oh, you're cold, oh, care, oh, you're not arguing with me, oh, you're not reacting. The minute you don't give a reaction, they immediately equate that to not interested or cold or don't care. But
I,
that's what I was saying earlier. Emotional intelligence mirrors avoidance in behavior a lot of times, right?
okay.
And then why does predictability sometimes feel less attractive than inconsistency? Because someone's nervous system is already wired for chaos.
Yeah.
So because your nervous system is wired for chaos, predictability is slows it down. And so you don't know what to do or how to react because you've never been in an unchaotic
Mm,
environment. So you're not attracted to the quiet, calm, chill person.
yeah.
You need that chaos because your nervous system is that's the baseline for it. So it so that's why people are attracted to it. But someone whose nervous system is balanced will be attracted to someone whose nervous system is attracted to another person whose nervous system is the same way. Right. And that's the thing. I think people's nervous systems are out of whack, you
I
know.
thank you for that because what I hear is the bad boy archetype, and that's doesn't even have to be gender.
Yeah.
Right? That's that whole player.
Yeah.
If we go down that rabbit hole with, I'm just going to use gender as an example, women who chase men who are unavailable and treat them like shit. Again, you can switch the genders, but it's that dynamic. So you're looking for that drama and that reaction because that's what your nervous system is literally wired to. And then the chemicals. So if the chemicals aren't there, the fights, the makeup sex and the fucking drama, then that person doesn't feel loved or safe
Yeah.
because they're confused on what they've experienced, and they have to train their nervous system and rewire. And that's an inside job, and you can't tell someone how long that takes, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This
Oh, I love the way Nicole said that. Cold as ice, but no more rain. That's how she summed
Ooh.
up emotional stability. Someone
Oh,
emotional. That's how it's cold. It can feel cold, but there's no rain, right? If you
wow.
know,
That is a cool description. I feel that. Thanks, Nicole.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I like that. It's
Okay.
the flip when you run into the healthy reactions.
Yeah, it is
Yes,
a flip. It's a
that's
total
true.
flip. I love that. This is landing. And again, we're
Yep.
all at different places and spaces. So this is a really fascinating topic that we're navigating. I like it. Okay, cool. What's your note? The architect's note here.
Okay, so yeah. So systems repeat what they reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So dating culture currently rewards hypervigilance, our social media era. So we become excellent at detecting problems, right?
Yeah.
But relationships aren't built to find flaws. They're built by developing the capacity to recognize safety when it finally appears.
Mhm.
I mean, but are you really looking for safety? It doesn't seem like anyone's looking for safety. No, I'm just joking. But
It's on
yeah,
my
that's
Hinge
what.
profile, bitch.
Huh?
It's on my Hinge
Yeah.
profile.
So systems repeat. Systems repeat what they reward. That includes your nervous system, right?
Okay.
What rewards your nervous system? Have you done the introspection? Have you done the internal work to heal your nervous system? If not, you're gonna constantly find yourself attracted to that chaos, right?
Yeah.
And if you've done the work, you're gonna find yourself attracted to something else, right? The opposite of that.
Okay.
The key disruption, my key disruption for this episode is um, the greatest dating skill isn't identifying avoidance. It's becoming someone who can accurately recognize healthy people. Right?
Mm.
You have to be able to know the signs instead of taking that. How about this? This is what I challenge you to do. Instead of taking that therapy language that you've learned and projecting things onto other people, take that therapy language, learn what it is, and then introspect.
Mm-hmm.
Take
I
each
agree.
key term and introspect. Let's see if you hold those. If you are have any of those characteristics yourself,
I
instead of
just
throwing out projections onto others.
I know. I almost just had a vision of like, what if they had like a driver's license test, but you're not allowed to date until you pass a fucking test. I'm like, motherfuckers be
Oh
out
yeah, they
here
saw that.
dating and causing accidents and shit and not giving a flying fuck when there's no penalty and they're just like, okay, next. And that
Yeah.
is what swiping culture has added. It's just, oh, fuck them. I can have multiple, I can do more, and I can
Yeah.
do more harm.
No, absolutely.
That's why we're gonna have a
Yep.
monthly dating because we can't even. This is just the tip of the iceberg, y'all. Like, mm-mm. And that's why I believe
Yes.
in dating yourself and taking time before you actually include another fucking human being in your chaos. Like, literally, please, PSA, look and love yourself first. You're not gonna be perfect, but have more intention before you go and fuck with someone just because you're lonely or horny.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So the additional key line here is someone else's peace feeling suspicious isn't always about them. Sometimes it's evidence of what your nervous system still believes love should feel like.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All
So it's
right.
time to recalibrate.
Let's recalibrate. So we just decoded stuff, we disrupted stuff. I don't know how you're feeling. We could be feeling like, oh shit. So how do we recalibrate?
Okay, this week's recalibration question. When was the last time someone's healthy behavior made you uncomfortable and why? Think about it. Sit with it, reflect on. You have all week to get this done, right? One key takeaway. Pay attention this week to what you interpret and then ask yourself, what else could this behavior mean? Create space and observation and for interpretation. So how we're gonna do this? The action step. Instead of making another list of what you're looking for, ledger, but this time about self, right? What qualities would the healthiest version of my future partner hope to find in me? Where am I already living those qualities? Where am I still growing? So that's the list that we talked about within the episode that list out on your first date. Instead of doing that, you're going to answer these questions about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Bonus practice. Time someone communicates differently than you would, pause before signing. Ask one clarifying question before creating a story. Curiosity builds more relationships than certainty ever will. You
Mhm.
want to take our final reflection?
Yeah. So the final reflection, the goal isn't about becoming better at spotting red flags. It's becoming emotionally regulated enough to recognize the green ones. And these are the ones that Gabby mentioned. It can feel calm or boring. And that's what
Yeah.
safety is, literally, because the right relationship won't simply ask whether someone else is safe, it will also ask whether you have become safe to love. So,
Yep.
yeah, and I just want to kind of paraphrase the reflection section just in case the internet was a little wonky. So, remember, you guys, you're invited to this week. Pay attention to what you're instinctively seeing as rejection, and ask yourself, what else could the behavior mean? Create space around the observation, and give yourself grace if this is new for you. Right? So you're reflecting on someone's healthy behavior that made you uncomfortable, and that discomfort was just like a trigger, or again, a trigger is just an invitation to look inwards. I'm like, why did that ruffle your feathers, right? So we're giving you tools to look at it differently. So instead of that list of, again, this is taking your focus inwards. Instead of putting your happiness onto someone else, which is never going to work, y'all, it's an inside job, right? So this is where you date yourself. You say, I'm going to take myself to a cute cafe this week. I'm going to do my ledger. I'm going to ask myself, what qualities would the healthiest version of my future partner hope to find in me, right? So that I'm owning this and I'm actually living that way. How am I living them already? Start with that. That is such good behavior, like training. It's like, oh, I'm already doing this. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And if you need a friend, sometimes we can't see our own blind spots. Ask a friend. It's like, here's my list. Do you see any of this in me? And be open to having that reflected back to you, because you are still growing. So I just wanted to kind of like rehash the reflection a little bit. Cool. Anything else, Gabby?
The key line here: the cycle doesn't end when the right person arrives. It ends when you become someone who can recognize and receive them. Because if the right person comes along and you're not there emotionally, if your nervous system isn't regulated enough to recognize something good, you're just gonna fumble it in.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Gabby. I mean, even post-divorce, I wasn't available because I'm still healing from that relationship. And then I started dating, and we'll go into future episodes, but that's where I can take accountability and said, yeah, I didn't do that. And then the people I dated reflected that part of me. You see what I'm saying? So I'm testifying that this shit is true. And when you do the inner work, then you reflect, I don't say better, but you reflect qualities that match where you're at. Right. And I don't know. My hope for this is that we can all love ourselves and have healthy relationships. It sounds fucking easy, but.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to start the close. And if anything comes up before we close, I welcome that. But maybe the healthiest relationship you'll ever experience, it won't feel familiar. Maybe it'll feel unfamiliar because your nervous system has never experienced consistency before.
Oh, I like that. And then maybe that's the invitation, right? Stop asking whether everyone else is emotionally available and start asking whether your definition of love still requires chaos to feel real.
Mm-hmm. So before we close off, I think everyone got seen in the chat. This was a
We
good
have nothing
topic,
else in the chat.
Gabby. Yeah, I'm glad we opened the door on modern dating because this is just the beginning.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Not everyone's avoidant. Some people are just emotionally intelligent enough. And if you recognize that someone is more grounded than what you're used to or what you can handle, it's best to just be honest with yourself and with them and then release them.
Ooh,
Be honest. I wish that effective communication was more recognized and more welcoming or welcomed in modern dating. It seems like everyone's running off assumptions and projections and insecurities, and no one's stopping to have discussions about anything. You run to also talk to the person. If you feel some way about how someone's behavior, talk to that person. That's the best person to talk to,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Don't run to your friends and your family and
Social media.
TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to the person, and get the insight there first. Unless they're gonna project and all that stuff and gaslight. I understand get a second opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're gonna talk to a friend about it, you should still talk to the other person. And
I
so
love.
when you go to your friend, you have both perspectives. Well, I felt this way and I asked them about it, and this is what they said. At least get both perspectives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's.
and you're not just going in one sided, you
Ooh,
know.
I love that. That gives me hope. And whether you're on live or catching this later, DM us your questions because we are going to do a monthly, modern dating segment. So appreciate y'all. This is Decode Disrupt.
Yeah. Where insight meets interruption.
All right. Take good care. Peace, y'all. Bye.